Are you able to hear me? Hello. Okay. So this fundamental flow, what I was speaking in yesterday's class, are you clear? You don't need to be an expert in this, but the basic flow is clear to you. Hello. See, you should be responding, man. You should be responding. Hello, are you people are there? Just do that. Just do that. Okay, now mainly this whole architecture is provided by Oracle, man. The configurations are done by the DBS and developers will do their development on these configurations that are set by the DBS. So starting from 10G onwards, Oracle started fundamentally working on the table spaces by definitely confirming two table spaces. Okay, prior to 10G, only one single table space called a system table space used to be there. Where the name itself is telling you system table space are nothing but table spaces where they have all the technical architectural metadata of your entire Oracle. Means if your system table space is crashing, your Oracle crashed. Okay, your Oracle itself has crashed. If your Oracle has crashed, then don't you think that all your business application is also lost now? Whatever you have developed on that. So Oracle started thinking when we get into the higher level environments, this can be a big problem. So starting from 10G onwards, Oracle starts definitely installing and configuring two table spaces. Means when you're configuring your Oracle, automatically one system table space will come and another one is system auxiliary table space will come. Your system table space and system auxiliary table space, both are mandatory starting from 10G onwards. The similar architecture is followed even in cloud. Okay, no changes in the construct of the cloud now. So they are the mandatory table spaces. They are created only at the time of database creation. These two table spaces should always be online compulsorily. If any one of the table space goes offline, your whole database will stop functioning. These two table spaces are fundamentally used to support Oracle's internal architectural management. Each Oracle database contains its own system and system auxiliary table spaces. So if you are creating two databases in Oracle, how many system table spaces are there? Two system table spaces are there. How many system auxiliary table spaces are there? Two system auxiliary table spaces are there. Be very clear about that. So every database that you create in your Oracle will have its own independent system table space and system auxiliary table spaces. So if we are specifically speaking about the system table space, it is basically nothing but a table space that is always available when Oracle database is open and you cannot take it offline. I mean, the moment you start your Oracle database, automatically the first table space that should get activated is system table space. And this table space can never become offline at any point of time. Your system table space will store the total data dictionary or Oracle's internal base tables. Means to run your Oracle on your machine as a database, it needs some base tables. Those all data dictionary tables and its corresponding base tables are maintained in the system table space. System table space includes data about the objects that are registered within your Oracle database. This particular data dictionary, whatever you are speaking, is called as metadata, which is basically nothing but containing information regarding every object what you created along with the relations with which it is existing in your Oracle database. System table space is the first table space that is created when your database is created. Your criteria of accessing the system table space is possible only when you have higher level privileges in your machine. That is, you should be a database administrator compulsorily. At any point of time, the developers cannot make any changes to this system table space. They cannot drop the system table space and they cannot do any maintenance on the system table space, but they can use the system table space. Means they are given only permission for readability on the system table space, but not anything else. Only DBS can do all the other activities. System table space always has its own undo segment such that if anything goes wrong, system table space has the ability of intelligence to undo itself and once again go back to the previous snapshot under which it is working. Everything is looking very good, but what if the system table space suddenly goes for a crash or it is basically getting into a damage? Don't you think that your whole database and all the database applications are terminated? So to overcome this, Oracle provides you system auxiliary table space. The SysAux table space, it fundamentally stores the data for auxiliary applications like internal log management done through LogMiner, workspace manager, Oracle constructive data mining, Oracle streams, and much lot of other Oracle tools. They will be operating. Whenever they operate, the system auxiliary table space will be monitoring and it will be maintaining their information. Sir, what is the advantage of this particular system auxiliary table space? At any point of time, if your system is crashed, properly, if configurations are done on system auxiliary table space, you can start recovering Oracle data or Oracle database in situations of failure very quickly. Your database has crashed, let us say, in your personal machine. Generally, these all configurations, if you do, your machine needs huge amount of space, man. And it also needs the physical space as well as the logical space using RAM. So on personal machines, we may not be taking that much of configurations on this. But in real environments, your DBAs will see that they are very, very specifically configuring your system auxiliary table spaces such that if suddenly if your database crashes, then automatically we can recover the database using the system auxiliary table spaces. Therefore, remember one thing, your system auxiliary table space is automatically created when the DBA is using the database creation assistance wizard. To create any particular new database, if he is using this DBCA tool, automatically the system auxiliary table space gets created. Starting from 10G, you cannot have Oracle database on your machine without SysAux. Be very clear about that. SysAux also needs very high level security and it cannot be dropped or renamed. Therefore, it is totally under the control of DBA. Now, SysAux is used only to store system-specific objects and it is a permanent table space by its nature. Am I clear? Now, remember one thing, these two table spaces, because they are used for operating your Oracle database on your machine, they are totally under the control of the high-level DBAs. But developers are given permission only to access them, but not to operate, modify, or drop them. Now, every table space is nothing but a collection of files, man. Now, every file will have some standard size of capacity for which it can store the data. It can store the data. Do you agree with me? So now you need to always understand one thing. Whenever you're dealing with the construct of your table spaces, suddenly around 2004, 2005, because of high level internet working expansions that have been happening in the world, Oracle started finding one crisis. The crisis is for large scale businesses which are doing 24 by 7, 365 days, huge amount of data started getting collected. And these table spaces, technologically, they had an issue of managing such huge amount of data. Why? Because if your disk is full, let us say, can you expect your computer to be connected with another hard disk without shutting down your computer, man? Hello, is it possible? Can I connect a new hard disk to my particular computer without shutting down my system totally? Is it possible? No. Now, if I shut down a machine for a business that is running 365 days with 24 by 7 process, don't you think that every lot of business loss will take place? Can you expect your mobile servers, your e-commerce servers, your banking servers to be shut down at any point of time for the sake of maintenance? No, definitely not. That's where Oracle started thinking of one special kind of table space, which is called as big file table space. The name itself is telling you this table space is designed specially for managing very, very large files as one single individual file, where the internal block size of the file can be up to 4 GB, man. Up to 4 GB of block size can be there. Because of these big file table spaces, only today you are enjoying 24 by 7 entertainment in your life. So the fundamental advantages of big file table spaces are what? They can manage very huge amount of data within one single data file depending on the configured block size. Now I can definitely say that big file table spaces that were introduced by Oracle were first step towards the world of big data what you're speaking today. If your block size is fundamentally 8 KB, let us say, then one single file of data you can manage in big file table space is 32 terabytes. Means you can have one single individual file of a size and capacity of 32 terabytes. If the DBA configures the block size to 16 KB, let us say, then your file can go up to 164 terabytes. Imagine one single file with a capacity of 64 terabytes. And if your block size is configured for 32 kilobytes, then your file can be 128 terabytes at a time. Once Oracle introduced big file table spaces starting from 10G, the world of data management constructs has changed. That is a time you can check down the line in the history, your weather forecasting, your internet working services, either by Yahoo or Google, with the concept of Yahoo came up with weather forecasting services initially. Google came up with the constructive of services like Google Maps, and Amazon came with its e-commerce industry. This all expansion started happening very effectively because of this big file table spaces. These big file table spaces, they significantly enhance the storage capacity of your Oracle database. They reduce the number of data files needed for a database. You just imagine one file is 128 terabytes means when your data searching is taking place or your data inserts are taking place, are you really searching for multiple number of files where the space is there and store the data? No. Big file table spaces, they can simplify the database management system by providing data file transparency. That was first level thought process towards the concept of data engineering and big data implementations. Because the world started thinking towards the size of data that can be more than 128 terabytes. Means the world started looking towards petabytes like constructs. Then databases, definitely they cannot handle such a big scenario with a huge amount of metadata what they have. Then the world of Hadoop, Cotton, like platforms, they started coming. They're not database platforms, first understand. They are only data management, means they are only data with file management. Next, you have the temporary table spaces, which are definitely very important. But remember one thing, when you install your databases, system table space will come, system auxiliary will come, one temporary table space will come. Big file table spaces are created by requirement of the project and its capacity and size by the DBAs. They do not come automatically. Am I clear? And when you come to the temporary table spaces, the name itself is telling you these table spaces will technically store the data temporarily. As and when you are using SQL statements, especially for sorting the data, these table spaces are very, very important. We will get one temporary table space automatically when the database is created. By necessity, the DBA can create multiple different number of or multiple number of temporary table spaces by the state of the application. So when you're working with your Oracle, the general table spaces are what? System auxiliary, which come automatically from the database creation. One temporary table space, which comes along with the database creation. But you can have multiple temporary table spaces according to need of necessity, which can be created by DBA. But we don't have multiple system auxiliary and multiple system table spaces. For one database, one system table space, one system auxiliary table space. If your application is working for very huge amount of data in the order of terabytes, then big file table spaces are created by your admins. Am I clear? So the fundamental architecture of your particular database will go in this particular style. I wanted to just follow up on the constructs. So on top level, whenever you're working, we have one user tier or view layer. Means anytime the end user wants to communicate with Oracle database, I'm making it very clear. Anytime your end user wants to communicate with Oracle database, he will definitely use an interface from where he can communicate with the database. This interface can be as simple as your SQL prompt, what you will be using in your classrooms, to any third party developed technologies that are existing in the world. But if any third party technology is communicating with Oracle database, means it should have a signed integrated configuration with the user tier or the view layer. So all your requests are posted only within this particular user tier. Be very, very clear about it. Am I clear? Now, for one database, only one user can be connected or multiple users can be connected. You should be answering, man, then only you'll understand. If I created one database, I can have multiple number of users who can get connected. Very good. The second thing, all the users will need the same data or all the users will try to utilize different kinds of data according to the requirement. Different data according to the requirement. Yes or no? That's great. Third, is there any chance that two different users are requesting the same data? Yes, there is always a chance like that. Now, whenever two users are requesting the same data, this data requests are taken and it should be searched in the same location for these two users. Do you agree with me? But these two users should be given their own independent copies. Am I correct? Hello. These two users should be given their own independent copies. Now imagine one particular data is there in your database, means some 200 users are requesting the data. How many copies your system should maintain for this request of 200 users? 200 copies. If I'm managing 200 copies of the same data, where imagine each copy is 1 GB, don't you think that I'm redundantly occupying the memory for the same data again, and again? This is where Oracle thinks very intelligently. So the moment you start your Oracle server, man, okay, catch my words carefully, man. The moment you start your Oracle server, what happens is it technically creates one special kind of memory within the RAM. Within the RAM, it will create its own special kind of memory allocation, which is called as System Global Area or SGA. Okay, which is technically called as System Global Area or SGA. And I'm repeating once again, this SGA is part of the server. Am I clear? Oracle server. Wherever your Oracle database is running in that server, within the RAM, it will be there. So the moment the Oracle database starts, it is occupying some part of the RAM, taking permission from the OS and telling OS that this part of the RAM you give me dedicated for my operations, which is recognized internally as SGA. Clear? Now remember, even if million users are connected to Oracle, all the million users, whenever they are putting the request, the request goes to this SGA. Is that point clear? Is that point clear? Now, for my request, whatever data I am requesting, if the data is available as a copy in this SGA, I'm repeating once again, for my request, whatever data I am requesting, if that data is available as a copy within this SGA, then my Oracle returns that information from the SGA directly. So am I doing any physical search for every request of my data? No. Try to understand the beauty of Oracle's architecture. Suppose, say, like at 6 o'clock in the morning, you requested some data from the database, and that particular data is not available in SGA because you are the first person who is requesting it, and the data is not available in SGA. Then definitely Oracle starts pushing that request to the physical tires via the SQL Star Plus environment. So when your Oracle contacts the SQL Star Plus environment, which is a logical or business layer, when the requested information is not available as a copy in SGA. Am I clear? And this particular logical layer is nothing but the area where SQL Star Plus statements are parsed and controlled by their operation. And your request is kept in the queue, which is internally managed by Oracle. Oracle has its own queue management services. And through that queue management services, Oracle contacts the corresponding database physically where your data is there. So are all the requests from the end users are reaching the physical tier? No. So this is an area where the physical data related to the business applications is stored permanently. Now, once the corresponding data requested is available in the physical storage area, Oracle starts releasing the data through a special kind of component called as dispatcher. Am I clear? And now one very interesting fact is this dispatcher where it should keep the data. This dispatcher does not send this data directly to the requested user. Instead, it will redirect the data to SGA. So without keeping a copy of the data within the SGA, can any operation happen in Oracle, man? Hello. Never. Now, what happens here? This data that is kept as a copy in the SGA will be given to the end user. Now, after this copy has been loaded, let us say like you are requesting the data once again. And your request needs the data what I already requested previously. Then will your request goes to the physical tier with a queue? Will your request goes to the physical tier with a queue? No. It will return the data from the system global area. So it's not your Oracle is maximum trying to see that you don't keep any load on the servers physically every time with every request. Hello. So its architecture is very perfectly designed, man. When you're executing SQL, you never feel all these things. You'll never feel all these things. Be very, very clear about that. In the background, this SGA and your physical tires, they are in continuous monitoring, exchanging information by the need of the necessity. You work in any environment, whether on your personal machine or any other machines, whatever you're having or in industry, this architecture of integration will be the same. So in my personal computer, when I'm installing my Oracle, how I'll get this? This is logically designed by Oracle one. So when you're operating with the constructs, you should always remember working with Oracle, you don't need to go into the technology part and do. You need to only understand what? The language called as SQL and the business requirements and your business requirements very properly. So then why we are discussing all these things? When you're using one technology and you say that you want to become an IT developer, you need to have at least the fundamental knowledge of the technology, man. So it's as simple as you practiced all the examples. Then I'm telling you, can you tell me what is the technology that you have been using to get the data from the database when you're working in your real time? Then imagine some person is saying that I was typing through my keyboard and it's coming on my screen. So you cannot just be like that, no. So keep a construct. But one very interesting case is whether you are using Oracle, you're using MS SQL Server or MySQL or anything. Everybody, when he's working in databases, they have to follow one standard model. Man. They should follow one standard model. We call that as relational model. So you like or you do not like all the projects that are dealing with the databases, irrespective of the technology, they will be definitely developed in one standard model called as relational model, where this relational model was outlined by EF Cod in 1970s. The fundamental components of the ES model are what? Everything you deal within the ER model is an object. We are storing our data within an object, and the whole model is a collection of objects. Every ER model demands that you use any technology, the technology which says that it is an RDBMS technology, it should provide standard operators where these operators should have the ability to act on your relations to produce other relations. Means you're learning Oracle, you're learning MS SQL Server, you're learning MySQL or anything. The operators that are provided in all these database management system softwares will be the same. Am I clear? Every time you develop a database by following ER model, without your knowledge, you're developing definitely with high level data integrity for accuracy and consistency. Means if I told my company that I am a person who has great knowledge in RDBMS principles with Oracle, my company believes automatically that I am a very highly integrity oriented developer with greatest accuracy and consistency. Means you're already having that positive impression before you get into your interview rooms, man. Now, sitting in the interview rooms, you cannot provide these things and you're not able to convince the interviewer that You are a very high level accurate and consistency developer. That is your mistake. Relational databases, wherever you go, as per the ER model standards, they will use relations in the form of two-dimensional tables for storing the data. Means you are storing the data, or I am storing the data, or even if Oracle Corporation is storing the data also, it will store the data only in a kind of default structure called as a table. Am I clear? The rows in each database table should represent sequential values, where the value in the row should be an identified value in the business. Means when you want to look into the event of the business, within the table you'll capture one row, and a row is a collection of multiple different number of values which are collected under the columns. Each column should represent a field of data that is fundamentally taken through the process. Therefore, columns are nothing but what? Features of the business. They are features of the business. Every column will be having its own domain. Domain means a specific type of data type with which the data will be stored in that particular column. To keep the data in the tables according to the ER model, your data can never be duplicated. Means information duplication is not accepted when you are dealing with your relational models. So then how to manage this? You're going to manage a concept called as primary key to see that your information within the tables is never getting duplicated. One object in the business is definitely related with another object in the business. So when your objects are correlated in the business, then technically we are expecting the data to be related through a concept called as foreign keys. To see that my objects are never destroyed and they are never misused by the other developers or end users, we never give the original names of the objects to anybody. As per the ER model standards, we should create the synonyms. One data means if the data is in one table, this data can be accessed by any number of different users, but all the users' requirement will not be of the same nature. Therefore, we create logical tables which are called as views, which fundamentally give different perspective to the same data by requirement of the business end user. As the size of the data increases, the speed of the database automatically decreases, but end user will not be happy with this. So to keep the performance and optimization in the best way, we always design indexes for promising the performance and optimization of the data access in the concept of the data retrieval. You go anywhere with any technology in the world, which is a RDBMS technology, irrespective of the software company, the technology should provide these facilities. Therefore, if I'm working in one database like Oracle for say like one project, by next time I move in, it was say like my company is having a project in MS SQL server. Do I need to get really worried if I'm changed with the technology? You should not. You should not. Why? Because if your company is going with the rules of RDBMS principles, the interface of the technology could be changing, man, but the basic concept of operating on the technology for database will be the same. Therefore, in industry, to see that all the people are working in the database, they are technically having similar state of mindset and coordination and synchronization. Any project in database is developed with a concept of data modeling, which is basically beyond these classes to speak in depth, but the idea of the model should be clear to you. What is a model? That should be a clarity for you. That's all. When your client is basically contacting you, is the client is contacting with the technology and the domain and the model and the platforms, or is only contacting you with the problem statement, man? What is your opinion? Hello. Only the problem statement. The client never gives you any kind of architecture or solution or anything. It just comes with the problem statement. Now, once he gives you the problem statement, how many times you can understand that problem statement of the client and convert that into an requirement, means entity relationship model. How many times you can just do that conversion? This is an area where your expertise starts. By the time you complete your course along with your SQL and PL skill, you should develop these additional skill sets also. Why? Your senior always speaks with you only in the model. Your senior speaks with you only in the model. The next few minutes, when I wanted to just to look into this particular problem statement, what a client is giving you, man. Okay, just have a glance on this. Go on reading as your data is coming, man. So that's one problem statement given by your client. And imagine your luck favored, you are being given this statement by your company, and your company said that please plan the requirements to complete this particular project into a solution to the end user. This is what on high level note came to you from one of your senior managers or anybody. Now, did you find any SQL in this particular statement? Any PLSQL or Java or C++ is there in the statement directly? I don't think so. So remember, you learn any technology, man. How many times a client given problem statement, you can convert that into an implementation in computer sciences with the technology, what you know. So everybody can understand a program, everybody can understand a SQL statement. That is not the importance. Every developer in the process of implementation should have that ability. So if you're not synchronizing your ideas and thoughts and your actions with your seniors who are giving you actually the problem statements, can you really think of completing the projects, man? No way. And I've seen many number of students saying that, sir, I'm not understanding what my senior is telling me. What your senior is telling you, if you do not understand, you will lose the job. What you are doing, if your senior does not understands, you will lose the job. Means finally you will lose the job. That's a final tag point. So adjusting yourself and synchronizing yourself to your seniors is your responsibility. Am I clear? No excuses, no cock and bull stories you can say in this case. Therefore, every developer should have at least the fundamental knowledge of what is data modeling. I told you data modeling is a very big subject by itself, man. It's a specialization. But the very fundamental thing. Why? Because your seniors always speak with you in data models. So data model is what? It is nothing but it is a logical structure of the database, how it is getting modeled. They are the fundamental entities to introduce the abstraction of your DBMS. Data models, they define how the data is connected to each other and how it gets processed and stored within the system. So data models definitely help the database application development. But how it helps? Data model will help you in exploring the ideas and improving understanding of the database design. Data model itself is a documentation in your project. Be very clear. It itself is like a documentation that has the ability of defining and organizing the database. Data model definitely shows how your data structures within the given database are architected, components of the application and platform that are connected, components and the data of the given system are stored, accessed, and processed. Means even before you develop any project, you'll get the idea of the objects in the project, the relations between these objects in the project, what are the storage mechanisms, everything your data model will speak. Excuse me. So the purpose of any particular data model is what? Your data model helps you in establishing communication, categorization, describing, specifying the requirements, investigating, evolving, analyzing, and imitating. These are all the things one data model can provide you. Be very clear about that. Means, don't you think that one data model is giving you end-to-end of clarity of your application in your project? Therefore, when data models are designed, they are designed with a specific objective. The first thing you should understand, a data model is not specific to any technology or any platform. It is for multitude of users. Therefore, we don't have data models separately for C language developers or C++ or Java or Oracle. Once one data model is developed, it is for any technology expert. Every data model should be designed in such a way that it can be understood by the end user. Your end users, you should understand in a conceptual state. If my senior is designing the data model, I am the end user for him. So he keeps me in his mind, and then he will design the data model. If I am designing something and it should be understood by X on the other side, that X is an end user for me. Therefore, every data model is designed in such a way that it contains sufficient amount of details for the developer to build the database system. So finally, we can say that a data model is just nothing but a pictorial representation of the general idea of the implementation in your project. It can be in any way. I'm not talking about whether it's a flow chart or data flow diagram, or it can be ER diagram, or it is anything like UML. I'm not talking about that. Data model is a diagram according to your area of your construct. I just wanted to participate for next few minutes, man. Okay. Now, can you just tell me what is that model of the object is representing, man? I want answers from you. See, whenever I'm asking some question, if you're not answering, it will be a problem of loss for you, not for me. Because you will never get confidence whether you're participating positively or not. Can you tell me what is that object that is there on your screen as a model? I think universally anybody will say it's an apple, yes or no? But did I write anywhere the data called as apple on my screen? Did I write anywhere the data called as apple on my screen? No. So see the beauty of a model, man. I gave you a model and you are giving the data. Am I correct? So remember one very important thing. Behind every model, there is some information, there is some data. But for every data, you may not have a model in the world. Therefore, once I design a model, don't you think that it's easy to understand the data? Where I think in English, we have one saying which says that a picture is worth 1,000 words. So it's apple. That's okay. Now you got the data. Now I'm just asking you, can you describe this object called as apple? Can you describe this object which is represented in the model named as apple? Can you describe it? Tell me. Start from your side. Try. Okay, an apple has color. Rumaisa. Other people, it's a fruit. That's great. Come on, men. It's such a simple activity. So describing an object of the model, it only depends on your domain knowledge. So can't I say apple is a fruit? Apple will be in red color. Apple is a juicy with rich vitamins. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Apples are generally raised in cold climate. Now, are we not generating this data out of our experience in that particular domain or not? So model speaks about data, and once the data comes in, it gives you information by the domain. Now watch once again very carefully. What is this object that is modeled on your screen? Quick answers. What is the object that is modeled on your screen? Apple. Yes or no? No doubt about it. Now I'm transforming this object now. What is this object now? What is this object? Pomegranate. So don't you think that when the model changes or model transforms, the data is getting changed automatically? When the data changes and the model changes, your information describing the particular object also is changing. So data models have much lot of importance in your software industry, man. Be careful. I want to answer from you. What is this object that is modeled on your screen? Cat. Now, did you see cat any time in this kind of shape in real time? No. But don't you think that our mind is fixed whenever the shape comes, automatically it is a cat? That's how model can give you the clarity of an object. And once the clarity of the object comes, automatically the clarity of information starts. Am I clear? So models always have some data stored behind them. Can you just give me, this is the model of object of what? A human being. Can you come clarity with the gender? Can you come with the clarity of gender? Normally we will say a boy, yes or no? But I don't think I gave every property of a boy here. So can your model make you assume through the construct of the data or not? This is once again a boy, no doubt about it. But the moment I make transformation in this object, is not our idea is changing that it is a girl. The way you are experiencing your data and models in your day-to-day life, don't you think that in your school, at the level of your kindergarten, I think your teacher started like this, yes or no? As your maturity increase, don't you think that every model you encountered in this world, relevant to that model, you started learning the data, yes or no? The same way, when you come into the database projects, man, technically you have models that make you communicate with your seniors more easily. Therefore, no senior will speak directly on the problem statement without a model, man. If it's a good company with standards, they will definitely have models. Models doesn't mean that they will be like this, some kind of pictorial representation, and that pictorial representation in databases is called as ER model. Okay, we call that as ER model. In one particular area of in our course, we technically work on the ER model. Don't worry. Okay. Slowly, I'm getting into my process now. Tomorrow, when I'm speaking with you, if you say that you're developing anything in RDBMS, what are the relational database properties we should keep it in our mind now? There are some standard properties throughout the world. If you say it is an RDBMS, we'll speak on those aspects. And I think very soon we'll be getting into the construct of understanding on the practical side of SQL. Get ready, man. Till I feel that I'm completing the concepts very properly with you, we will be having sessions even on Saturdays and Sundays also. Okay. Once I get into the practicality, man, you'll be having heavy load of load, then definitely weekends will be off. So please be very clear on this. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Once again with you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Take care of yourself. Have a great day. Purna Sai, if you are listening very properly to my sessions, following through the instructions, you can definitely switch to your IT industry, gaining the technical knowledge. Okay. Initially, it may look somewhat heavy for you, but have patience till you become comfortable in that. Okay. Initial resistance will be there. But don't worry, as you go on working practically, you'll automatically correlate yourself and you'll start working through the constructs. Thank you very much, gentlemen.